Welcome to another episode. Hey, guys. You can't talk right now. Welcome to another episode of Unsavory Fellow. My name's Nick James, and I'm super stoked to have one of my best buddies here. He's a fashion icon. He was a professional skateboarder. He skated for Dogtown. He was on the Z-Boys team.
Yeah, Z Product, Z Flex.
Z-Flex. George Wilson. Thanks for being here, George.
Thank you, buddy. What an intro.
Right?
Yeah, cool.
So tell me, what have you been doing?
Well, I've been, as you know, I've manufactured for the last 30 plus years, but now I kind of doing it again, but a different way.
Jeans or other things too?
Yeah, I have one company that I help out. It's like kind of a part-time gig, and then I make my own stuff, and I sell at vintage markets, and I sell a lot of vintage, like, you know, vintage Levi's and vintage clothes.
And bags. You were making, I know you were making bags.
I make bags. I do different.
Wallets.
Yeah. I'm not doing wallets right now, but I'm doing these really cool kind of hip packs and then like a cross shoulder.
Are these the pants?
Yeah, and that's my...
Can we see these?
Yeah.
Tell us about these.
Well, that's what I call the easy pant. And I've been selling those for about 5 years. And I developed it right in the beginning of COVID.
I think these are bitchin'.
And I was just playing around with my girl Tara, and I said we should make a COVID comfort pant. And I took a pair of her pajamas. Yeah, that's what it had started.
Really?
As like a joke. I said we should, because you know we're all at home. I'm all, we should.
Right. COVID comfort pants.
Yeah.
This is great.
And then it just, and so I made the first one, and it was like amazing. I did a bunch of changes, but I basically.
Oh yeah, these are soft.
Yeah, so that one's denim, and then I over dye it like a black denim, and then I like stonewash it.
That's cool.
Yeah, but it's a total unisex pant. So I made the first one, and then I had a couple minor little changes, and then the second one was pretty much right on. And then I threw it on my son, Austin, and it fit him. Oh my God, this is a total unisex pant.
Yeah, but he's like a supermodel.
Yeah, but anyway, it just right out of the gate, and I've been doing it for 5 years, and it just keeps.
Where can you get these?
Well, I mainly sell them at the markets. I do the Rose Bowl, I do Long Beach Antique Market, and then I do Santa Monica Market, and then I sell them through Instagram. I sell them.
Okay.
People DM me.
How do you find them on Instagram?
That's at Rivy Goods.
At Rivy Goods.
RIVI Goods. I don't have a website or anything because I kind of like to keep it still kind of. I do a little bit of wholesale, but not really in California too much. I sell like I have a store in Austin called Keep Looking, and I have a store map in Provincetown, and I have a new store I'm going to be doing out in Brooklyn. And
will it be these?
Well, I change them all the time, and I'm actually, because these are all like real kind of simple. I call it the easy. It's just a real casual pant, but like I say, it's just like when you wear it, it's like, I mean, the repeat business is like kind of
really.
It's hard to believe. Yeah.
What about like these? Like, because these are I don't know if you guys can see these, but these Rivy.
Yeah,
jeans,
that's a pair of selvage jeans. That was like my slim cut I did, but those, I think I did those started almost 20 years ago.
Oh, I've been wearing them for Dylan knows. I don't wear anything else for the last 20 years probably. Yeah. Maybe longer.
Yeah.
When did you start making these? They were Double Down first and then they were Rivy? Is that right or no?
I started Rivy in the early 2000. But I was just playing around, and then I didn't really get it going until maybe 2005, 6. But I was just mainly just. It never really, you know what I mean? Because my main business, I manufactured for hundreds of brands, so I never really
big
put
brands
it out.
too, big ones. I remember.
Some big brands, and and I started doing all the skateboard brands in the 90s. You know, I was producing for all the, when clothing kind of took off.
Like,
so
what were you doing then? Because
I was making denim and cargo pants and stuff for all the skateboard brands.
And you were a professional skateboarder, as I said.
Well, yeah, in the 70s.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, yeah, like I turned pro in Florida when I was like, I think I was either almost 16 or something like that. There was a couple contests I entered, and but I didn't really like
Well,
contests. But so
what was
what?
the skate? Was it like pools and vert? Not in a contest. Was it like verts or was it street?
Well, I mean, my favorite. We skated pools and stuff, but we also then once the skate park opened up, we were traveling all over. So yeah, so it was around that time, when I turned pro, a lot of it was parks, but still skating pools when they would, you
But what was
find
the
them.
skate scene like in Florida, man? What year was that? In the 70s, like the late 70s?
Yeah, like I mean, I started in the '60s with steel wheels and clay wheels. I mean, how it really started for
The
me.
60s?
Yeah, I was born in '59. So here's the deal. Okay, my neighbors, we were like 5, right? Okay, but here's the deal. They had a sister that was 16,
Nice.
and all the surfers hung out at
Right.
their house because she was kind of hot.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
So I was obsessed with these guys, and they'd be skateboarding out on the street. It was steel wheels. It was
Yeah.
like, nothing.
Yeah.
Barefoot.
Just like, it was like
Yeah,
it was just like a
barefoot
piece of
skating.
oak, your
Yeah,
wood,
it was I mean, it was like
sidewalk surfer.
So the thing is, I was completely obsessed with these guys. So every time they'd be out there, I'd be out there. And then they liked me because I was like, started riding their boards and all that. And then, and they had surfboards over there. So I started surfing too. But and this was with the 50-pound logs, you know what I mean? I mean, like,
Right.
so my 2 neighbors, what we do, it was in the '60s, but they had these huge sponges. So we'd put a sponge on our head, and these boards were 50 pounds.
Right.
So we'd all 3, because I lived about 3 or 4 blocks to the beach. So we'd take these boards down, but the guys liked me because I was obsessed with these guys. Like, I mean, it was like crazy.
What was it? What about them that were you obsessed?
Because they were cool as fuck, and I was a little kid.
Right.
And they liked me because I was into it,
Yeah.
and my neighbors were like, they were like, they didn't get it,
Yeah.
but I got it. I got it right out of the gate.
And
you
then
know
how
what I
did
mean?
you get out here?
So then what happened? So I skated a lot, but it was clay wheels, but when it really changed was when the urethane wheel
Right.
came out. And
Right.
that's when it was like,
Yeah.
it was on. So we were just skating and doing skating whatever we could. But then, this magazines came out. I think it was like 1975. And then you start kind of seeing it. But what the real connection was to California and everything was Jimmy Plumer, my friend Jimmy Plumer. His parents were divorced, but his dad lived in Santa Monica. So every summer he was coming out.
Oh, yeah.
And every time he'd come back, the dude was fucking ripping. Like, I mean, I
Right.
can't tell you. And we were like, well, but he'd have these stories because he met Jay and Tony Alva in like '74.
When he came out.
In '74. And he would tell us all these things, and we thought he was like full of shit, kind of.
Right.
But the thing is, every time he'd come back, the dude was like at another level. So it really pushed us, and we had that kind of connection, you know what I mean? And then the magazines came out, and then we're like, damn, dude wasn't bullshitting, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so then the skate parks came and all that, and then I turned pro. Like, I don't really like competitions and all that, but I knew I could win some money, and I was like, kind of, not saying I was totally on my own, but I was kind of, my dad died, my mom had left when I was a kid, so I was kind of like surfing and skating was my outlet to just, that was my
Did you? What was your family life like then?
horrendous. Like, it was just
Like you had a brother, right?
Yeah, well, I had 2 brothers and I had a sister. So, and one of my brothers killed himself when I was 14, and then my mom tried to kill herself 5 days later, but she jumped out of a window and the cord broke, and was paralyzed. But that was her 3rd suicide attempt.
That was her 3rd.
So like surfing.
So she survived that, obviously.
Yeah, but never walked again. Yeah. So that was like, and then my dad died like a year and a half later. So I've basically been on my own since I was 16, and I had like some friends take me in and stuff. But the story was basically the outlet of, I was really good at sports. I was like a good baseball player, but I got it. I was already skating and doing everything before that, you know, and then it was
Yeah.
like, oh, you can't surf on game days. And I was still in Little League, and I was already smoking pot. So, and I, you know, was starting to grow my hair out. And it was just like, and it was authority. I had a problem with authority. So I didn't like them saying, I didn't understand why you can't surf on the day you're playing like a recreation game.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's Florida. It's the South, so it's like rednecks, man. Like
Right. What city were you in?
I was in Jacksonville Beach, and
Okay.
like it was Atlantic Beach. It was the beach towns of Jacksonville, so it's North Florida.
Right.
So it's really close to Georgia. So it's like a lot of hicks, basically.
Right.
It's like- but was lucky. I grew up on the beach town. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I live right by the beach, and so
So you wanted to be out on this beach.
well, that's what happened. So when I got out of school,
Were you 18, like out of high school?
I was 17.
Okay.
I was 17 when I graduated. But so it's like gotta go to California. You know what I mean? So me and a couple friends, we drove out. We
Well,
went.
let me ask you this, though, because I don't want to hang on it too long if you don't want to. But like, what happened to your mom then after that? Because that's like a gnarly story. So
I had a crazy childhood. Like, I mean, you know what? The thing is, too, most of my friends didn't even really know what my home life was like, you know, because I was just out doing my thing. And
what was it like?
it was just real unfunctional.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And both my parents, like my dad was a pretty bad alcoholic.
Okay.
But my dad had quit. I'd never seen my dad drink because my dad had already quit drinking before I was born because he'd had most of his stomach. You know, they told him if you don't stop drinking, you're gonna die, and my dad just quit.
Yeah.
But that's what happened. My mom kept partying. So my mom was a lot younger. My dad was 50 when I was born. So they just weren't. I mean, it was just ugly, like fighting. And my mom would be going out drinking, and then it was just like, you know, I remember I'd just be getting woken up in the middle of the night with them fighting, and then my mom started bailing, like, you know, when I was young.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, and then I think when she finally left, I was like 7.
So you were totally like, like you said, you were on your own. So like, if you came out, you know, like you said, when you graduate, you're like, well, I can just come out here. Who cares, right?
Well, okay,
I mean,
that's the deal. Because see, and this is the thing too. Like when I was 15,
I meant like there's no rules, right?
I didn't really have any rules,
right?
Because my dad worked. My dad was old. Like he was 66 when he died, but he was like I'm 65 now, but I feel young and kind of.
Yeah.
My dad was like
a different, our 65 to,
Yeah, it was a different time. But my dad was just like, I mean, I could just tell now as I got old, he was just depressed, man. And so he just worked and basically, like we used to go sometimes to sporting events and do stuff like that. But he was like, so I was on my own running from like very, you know, in there, you know, I mean, I'm hitchhiking all over when I'm like 10, 11, 12 and just like, you know, and then but what I did, I became they had this American Red Cross volunteer life-saving thing. So I became a lifeguard. Like, you're supposed to be 16.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Really?
I fucking saved a lot of people's lives, dude. I had some crazy stories with that. But you had to be 16, but I lied and got in. I had a few friends we got in when we were 15 because, you know, we're surfers and we could swim, good swimmers. But the thing is with that, it's really crazy because you got to go through, you know, it takes like 3 months. You got to go, show up, do all this stuff. You got to the crazy thing is you got to do this pool test. And these dudes are literally, like the guys already in, they're like trying to drown you. Like people warn me, they go, look, dude, the pool test is insane. But then you have people that tell you little tricks and stuff. Like, dude told me, grow your fingernails out. Like when so what happened?
Wait.
Okay, I'm going to tell a story real quick. But so anyway, so this dude, he's like 220 pounds, right? And he gets me. So it's like what it is. It's this thing. It's called, there's things like cross chest hair and all. But when you come up on someone who's like, you know, people are freaking out when they're in the water. So this dude's freaking all out like that. And so.
But he's acting, right?
Huh?
He's acting.
Yeah, but he's literally trying to.
It's like trying to get Jim.
The dude took me to the bottom of a 12-foot pool. He took me down to the floor. But this is what happens. So because what you got to do when they're doing that, you get behind you get them in their knee right here, and you squeeze on that. You get them behind the leg, one leg, and one in the front, and you swing them like that. So you spin them around. And then what you do, you like whack them and then get them into a cross, and then you swim. But what you do is you lock into their pressure point. So you have them locked in. When you get on that, like, people aren't going to do shit. The problem is when I went to get the dude, he scissored me. So he got around my fucking head and he scissored me and he fucking sank me.
Dude, that's like...
He took me to the bottom of the pool. But the good thing is, because I've been in the water my whole life, and I didn't freak out. So I was like, this motherfucker. So that's what where the nails came in. So he's got me down on the bottom, and I dug in to that motherfucker on
Where?
right here under his fucking arms. I dug into both of them with my nails. And as soon as I dug in, the dude just released everything. And I just took him, I kicked off, and I took that motherfucker to the top, dug in on that motherfucker. So I got him up to the top, and then I spun him around, and I fucking hit that motherfucker and took him in, swam that motherfucker to the, because you got to swim him across to the thing, right? And then the whole rest of the day, that dude's like this. Oh,
it's like...
Oh, I fucked him, dude.
Like a reverse rape, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he came in.
Got him.
Yeah, he came in on me with lube, but I went in dry on his ass. So, but what was classic was the whole day after that. The dude was just like, and he had like, oh, dude. I was dug in on him. He had 4 on here.
Oh,
yeah. He was fucked.
That's freaking great.
But then you got to do all this shit, and then you got to do all this stuff. But then you have to do all this stuff. But when you go, it takes 3 months to get in. You do all these testing and all this shit.
So then after that, is that when you came out here?
Well, what happened, I got in that. It's volunteer, but once you get in, you can work during the week and you get paid. And so in 75, I was making $200 a week doing the lifeguard beach patrol, because on Sundays you got to wear this crazy get up, dude. It's volunteer. It's almost like a tank top with shorts, and it's like blue,
like a wrestling singlet type thing,
sort of, but different.
Right.
And it's all cotton, but it has like a white stripe and a kind of white waisting. But it's a little.
What's it like the fit right here? What's that like?
It's just like a 70s
tight, or is it
short.
like comfortable?
No, it wasn't tight. Yeah, it wasn't like, but it was like short because it's 70s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you had to wear that on Sunday, and Sunday you're working for free. You know what I mean? But if you get in, then you get to work. And I was making like $200 a week when I was 15 and 75, which is a lot of money in Florida at that time.
Yeah.
And they also have you get your bunk. If you wanted, you could live in there.
So
you have your own bunk. You can sleep there and everything.
But how did you end up though? What age was it when you came out here? Like, how did you get here?
Okay, I came out here first. I was like 17, about to turn 18.
So you were young.
Yeah. So I came out and I spent like 6 weeks out here. We drove out, and so my friend Jimmy Plumer was already living out here, and he hadn't got on Z-Flex yet, but he was like, so we came and stayed. First we came in, we went in San Diego, skated a park, and then we got up to Santa Monica, and then we were skating all the parks, and then we hung out, and then so I stayed like 6 weeks, and I go, that's it, dude. I'm moving to California. So went back, and then there was this, but we met everybody. We met Jay, we met Tony, all the guys. So, and then there was a big contest. Kona Skate Park was my home park, and they were having the first U.S. Open, this big pro contest. Oh,
really? Where you were?
Yeah, so that was in 77, and every pro, it was called the U.S. Open, so everybody came. And the thing is, I don't really like contests, but that was my part.
So like Alva came and Jay came.
Yeah, Alva, Jay, Shogo, everyone.
Right.
Like for all like.
And had you met them yet or no?
Peralta, everybody.
And Stacy was there.
Yeah, I'd already met them, so that was what was so
that's
cool. So then when they came out, we just got way more. And then one thing that happened when they came out, we all went and skated this pool, and we got busted, and we went to jail. We literally got. We went to county jail.
Wow.
and they got us for trespassing and the whole deal.
Who was on that one that got busted?
My friend Mitch Kaufman, this guy Donnie Jensen.
Any of the guys from out here?
No,
Like
these
Jay
are
or-
Florida guys. But Shogo got busted.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, and there was a little bit of a problem because he was born in Japan, and there was a little bit of an issue.
Yeah.
So but the thing was, it was a permission. It was permission to skate there, but the lady that owned the house was a fucking psycho, and she said we were trying to break in her house and get at her daughter. It was all bullshit, but all this shit went down. Then so what happened? We had to go to court like 3 times. So Shogo stayed for 3 months, and then we got super tight. You know what I mean?
Oh, he's okay.
Yeah. So what he's telling me is, dude. So basically, we did all that, you know. But anyway, before that contest, right? So like I didn't like contests, but I go, you know what? I can win this contest, go to California, because the first place was $2,000.
Oh,
So
fuck.
I go, I'm gonna
There's
win
your ticket.
I go, I'm gonna win this fucking contest and move to California. So the first there's like 90 pros in it. And after the first day, I'm tied for first with Mike Weed going into the finals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I fucking got this. But then what happened? There was this huge. Everyone was partying at this hotel downtown where everyone was staying and shit. So we went to a party. We went over there and we're partying like a motherfucker, dude. And then, I mean, you know, pro athlete training. You know, I mean, fucking drinking, drugs, fucking. Man,
What kind of drugs?
Coke, and I think some Quaaludes.
Good Coke in Florida, maybe, right?
Fucking the best. Yeah. I did my first all-nighter in 1975.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fucking
so
way
anyway,
before me.
So my friend Mitch, first thing what happened, I'm like so wasted, and there's a railing, and I'm pissing over the top of this railing. I mean, you know, when you're just drinking, I mean, I'm just like
And you're
shooting.
young, it's going good.
Oh God!
Like
but
a hot
then
fire hose.
this old man and lady are coming up the thing, and I'm right at their door, just pissing. So I tried to stop, and I ended up pissing all over myself. I was like, fuck! So I went around the back, and my friend Mitch is out puking. I mean, we were getting fucking wasted, and this is the night before the finals. You know what I mean?
Right.
So anyway, so my friend Mitch is all, dude, you got to drive home. Let's go. And I'm all, fuck, I pissed the fuck out of myself. So he goes, all right, you need to drive. And I mean, I'm wasted. So we're driving, and we're like, because this is in town, and we live at the beach. So
Yeah.
it's like 30 miles, right? So I'm driving, and we're not even halfway, but it's just this one spot where it becomes like, it's just forest for like maybe 8 miles. There was nothing, you know,
Yeah.
this is in the 70s. So it was
Right.
like, so there's this intercoastal waterway kind of separates. After that, it kind of becomes like, you know, there's the Jacksonville, the town,
Yeah.
but there's just all this like, and then this is all just trees and everything. I'm black. There's not like lights on it's a 2-lane,
Yeah.
it's 4 lanes, 2 going this way, and it's divided. But my last memory is puking out the window, and then I went into a blackout. So I drove all the way home in a blackout. I don't even remember.
You made it.
My last memory was puking. And then, so I was staying with that's one reason why I need to come to California. I didn't have anything going on, man. And I was just like, what the fuck? I got to get the fuck out of here, because just nothing was happening. I wasn't like going to college or like, so I wake up in the morning, man, and Mitch he was doing, I don't know where he was, but so I had to hitchhike 30 miles to the contest. And then there's this place called Palm Valley. It's like now it's like a super wealthy, rich area.
Yeah.
But back then it was just like really like, even it was on the waterway and all that. So I have to hitchhike 30 miles to the contest. I mean, I'm fucking.
Did you get there?
I made it, because the finals was in the evening, but there was another thing, this downhill event, and I had the best times and all that, but I had to be at the riders meeting at 9 a.m. and I didn't get to the thing until like 3 o'clock. You know what I mean? So and the event was at 4, but they wouldn't let me enter because
You didn't go to the meeting.
9 a.m. meeting.
Yeah.
And I was fucking like pissed and fucking. Yeah, so I'm in the blackout, the whole deal. I'm
So
back.
how did you get, so you didn't win, so you didn't have any money.
Yeah, so here's the deal. I'm there. So I'm in the finals, right? So I skate, and it's funny. I actually had a better run, but I fell twice on
Was
on
it
the
a
banks.
downhill?
No, it was bull riding, and they
Okay,
have
oh.
this vertical. They have this like, it's 6 feet of vert with a kink.
Yeah.
Like we built the skate park didn't. It was this big like 30-foot bowl that went around like this. You know, it was like a big peak, and then it went around, and then we built a 6 foot. We call it the tombstone, 6 feet of pure vert, but it was kinky. Like
Yeah.
we took center. We made it. We got to have vertical, so we made this thing, and it was fucking gnarly.
See, and
dude.
isn't that, what's fun? What these guys don't know. When you and I were kids, right? That's what we did. You
do
made everything.
extensions and
You
do
would add
whatever.
extensions. You would build
Yeah.
your own ramps. There
Yeah.
was ramps all over the place.
Yeah.
I had a ramp going up my apartment
Oh
building.
yeah, just whatever.
You would
like-
steal the wood from construction
oh,
sites,
dude, yeah, everything.
and you'd build whatever you could.
Yeah.
So you had that, and then what happened?
So yeah, I'm fucking hungover.
You
totally.
lost.
Yeah, I lost. I got like 5th or 6th.
Did you
So,
get any money for that or no?
I don't even know if I made. I don't know. I might have won $200 or something.
And then how did you get out here?
So then what happened? But Shogo's still here
Okay.
because we got
In
busted,
Florida.
and he's in 3 months. Yeah.
Okay.
He has to stay 3 months till we finish all this court shit. And then what happened was, and then Shogo kept saying, "Dude, just come with me. Come back with me." He's all, "I'll fucking, you can stay with me." He goes, "Dude, come." I said, "Fuck it." So I had this fucking car. It was actually it was a 1975 Maverick. It was my dad's car. Like he died.
What kind of car?
It was a Ford Maverick.
My dad had a Ford Maverick. Go ahead.
Fuck, how you
We
like
came out to
that?
California in a Ford Maverick.
I drove to California. I drove that Maverick out the first time I drove out. I drove it out.
Really?
The funny thing
Those
is,
were cool cars.
this is the shit. Like I drove my registration was out, and I drove spent 6 weeks with out of registration, Florida plates with out of registration, just rolling dirty, dude.
Right.
We had like fucking we were selling weed and like fuck, it was so funny, man. But the funny thing is, and I got pulled over one time, and the guy goes, "Oh, I thought your sticker was out," but the sticker kind of set up under the way it sat,
Yeah.
and the way
yeah.
the bumper was, you couldn't see it all the way.
Yes.
And then it was a cop on a motorcycle. He goes, "Oh, you got the sticker under there." I'm like, yeah, I got an expired sticker under there. So, but yeah, so I drove that out. But the funny thing is too, we fucking broke down. We didn't even get out of Florida, and this guy was trying to say, "Oh, you guys need a new engine." You blew the engine, and so we fucking got the car towed. We stayed in a motel, and then we're like fucking bumming, and we're all like, "Fuck, we're going anyway, whatever." And I'm like, "Fuck," like I barely had any money, man. And then my 2 friends had more money than I had, but I had the car, so it was
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
So, but we go the next day, and dude's all, "You guys ready to go?" Because he's all, "You guys ready to go to California?" And we go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh man, you needed a fucking water pump," and so it was like it was like $80 or whatever. It was under 100. It was in the 70s. So
Yeah,
it was just
yeah.
like, so fix the water pump and boom, car fucking ran amazing all the way there and back. But so I fucking sold that car to my friend's brother. I sold for $600. It was worth more, but I sold for $600. Bought a plane ticket, and I had like $225.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. So then I came with Shogo.
And then when you got here, right? Because I want to kind of get
Yeah.
When you got here, you were 17, right?
I was 18 then. I was
Okay, so you
17
turned
when I came.
18.
Yeah, I'm 18.
And now you're skating out here, skating pro.
I
out
got here in June of 1978.
And then how did you get on Z-Flex?
So what happened was, so I flew in with Shogo, and
Because there's that great shot of you with Solo and Shogo, right?
Yeah, that's at the old Z shop in on
Bay Street.
Pacific. No, that's Venice.
Okay.
Pacific
That
and
one.
Venice.
Okay.
Yeah, that was where the
What
was
shop
the
was
office.
that?
It was the Z office. That's
Okay.
where they
Separate
shipped
from.
out.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they had we had a factory in Inglewood.
Okay.
Yeah, so So yeah, basically the next day after we flew in, Shogo took me to the shop, right, and introduced me to everyone. He goes, "Hey, this is my friend George." So he hooked me up. I got a board and everything, and then I wasn't like he didn't say, "Oh, I put this dude on the team" or whatever. So it was just like, so I got a full setup, right, and then no one knows anything because no one's seen me do anything. And then, but the thing is, then Shogo, so he's all, "Man, you can stay with me as long as you want." So like while we're at the shop, he goes, "Dude," he goes, "I'm going to Texas in 2 days. I don't think you can stay with me at my house." He goes, "My dad's like," I go, "What the fuck, dude?" Like, so here I am, like the next morning, I'm going, "What the?" He goes, "Let me talk to Polar Bear and see if you can stay with him." And so he talks to Polar Bear, and Polar Bear is like the best fucking dude in the world. And he's like, yeah, and Polar Bear's on, he's like fucking 16, maybe even 15, you know what I mean? And he goes, "Yeah, dude, you can stay with us." So,
And he was on the team too, right?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
Polar Bear was like fucking the best, dude. So
Yeah.
gnarly. But so they live in the hood on Brooks
Oh, Brooks.
in the 70s.
Yeah, that's rough.
So, like, you
Crack
can't.
town.
Okay, this is pre-crack,
Right.
but it's like,
When I was going to Brooks, it was crack
look,
town.
it's like Shoreline Crips, V13. It's like you can't go at that time. We couldn't go out our door and skate down Brooks to go to the beach.
Yeah, you
We had
couldn't
to,
do that
like-
in the 80s either.
Well, yeah, no, you just like
was
you
always
just couldn't
notorious.
fucking do it.
Yeah.
So we had to skate. And that's what they told me. They go, "Do whatever you do, don't go that way. Just go towards Lincoln." You know what I mean? And so what we do, we had this whole thing behind Allen's Aquarium down and get to California, and then you skate down. So I'm like, "Wow, that's trippy," and you don't know. So okay,
Right.
cool. So then like 2 days later, we come home, right, after been down at the Z shop, and we were everything we were hanging out at the Breakwater and all that, Venice Breakwater and all that. But we're coming back. This is like 2 days in, and the fucking shit's all taped off, the yellow tape, and,
Right.
and the fucking, the what do you call it, the
Caution tape.
yeah, caution tape, but
Right.
all cops, but it's
Yeah.
also the fucking whatever
Right.
some guy. So they robbed and killed the ice cream man in our driveway, like right at the fucking,
Wow.
and that's
The
like my
fucking
second.
ice cream man.
Yeah. So that's like the second or
Yeah.
third day. So I was like, yeah, I guess you really have to go. I go, they're not kidding about the don't go
Yeah.
that way. So it was just like kind of, and then it was just like, yeah, it was an eye opener, dude, the whole thing. But it was not only that, it was just the whole thing of like the breakwater
Yeah.
at that time. Like guys in Santa Monica didn't go hang out at the breakwater back then. You couldn't,
No.
no one from Santa Monica surfed the breakwater back then.
I didn't.
And what was really cool was, like, I felt all the vibes and everything, but then, then when we went to the first time we went and really skated, right? It was like, oh, okay, this motherfucker can skate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like,
You're in.
so it's just like, no, it's just like I had to keep, like, kind of just,
Yeah, you
I
had to
didn't say
keep- earn
anything. I
your-
just
earn
kept
your
doing my shit.
stripes.
So then it's like surfing. Oh, damn, this motherfucker can surf. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was just like, and then I'm surfing the breakwater, and then I'm like, but it's like, that would have never happened if I wasn't like living with Polar Bear and all that.
Right.
It was like fucking gnarly. It was like a
Yeah.
lot of shit went down. Like one time I was involved in a robbery that I didn't want to have any part, but because you're hanging out with guys that guys are gangsters or what, at the breakwater, it's just a mingle
Yeah.
thing. So I'm getting high with this dude, this cholo guy that's in the gang, but he's friends with, and I'm friends with him and all that. So some idiot rolls up to us, like this dude from Tennessee, and he sees us smoking a joint, and he's like, "Hey, you guys want to buy some speed?" With this like crazy,
Right.
I'm like, "Oh, this dumb motherfucker, dude!" And the cholo dude, I can't remember his name, but he was in the gang. Anyway, he goes, "Yeah, we do." And then the dude, he goes, "Let me see it." And the dude pulls out this whole fucking thing of all this, and then he tells me, "Sock him." And I'm fucking just like, what are you gonna do, dude? So I just fucking decked the dude, and he goes, shit, and then we just book, and I'm like, oh, great, I'm an accessory to a robbery. You know? But what do? You don't go, oh, hey, no, dude. You know what I mean? So you just kind of went along with everything.
Yeah, you got it.
But from that day, I just kind of, okay, I got to kind of like, just watch the things you get yourself
And then
into.
how old were you when you got sober? And what were you doing before that led to that?
Okay, here's the deal. Okay, so
Here's the deal.
everything was good. Well, this is the deal. So I had already had a bunch of bottoms before I came here. Like I said, I had a crazy Coke and Quaalude. I had a
That's what you were doing. Were you doing
this
Coke?
is what Coke, Quaaludes.
That was your thing.
That was my.
Me too.
Yeah, Quaalude. And there were
Roar
Roars,
714s.
Roars, and they were 50 cents. They were 50 cents when I first started.
That's right, and people don't know what that's like. They were like the fucking best,
dude. These things.
Everybody that's our age still talks about it.
Oh, they call it the love drug, dude. It was like magic. You're partying and fucking everybody takes those. You're like
the first time I had one, I had a half a Quaalude, and I had some drinks too. I was drinking, and I was probably in 8th grade.
Yeah.
I remember, I don't know what happened. I just took it by myself. I walked out of my parents' apartment, and it was probably 9 at night to walk the dog.
Yeah.
That's the last thing I remember. And I woke up at 10 in the morning with the sprinklers on me.
Oh, shit.
I passed out in the tree lawn.
The first time I bought 2, right? And I took it. And this happened to me a lot of times. And that's why I know I was like so fucking I'm addicted to whatever. But so I bought 2. And I took it, and we were drinking and everything. All right, I was 13. I was in 8th grade, and we were having this party. This chick, Lee Holiday, was kind of my girlfriend, but not really, but like kind of. And she was fucking hot as fuck. She had all these sisters, and their mom was cool as fuck. I mean, we're just like raging, and the mom's just like so. I remember I was in the kitchen, right, and I'd already taken one. And I remember going, man, I'm not feeling it. So I took the second one. Okay, I'm 13. So I took 2 Quaaludes. So I remember being in the kitchen and going, fuck, I'm not feeling it. So I go, I'm fucking taking my other one. We're drinking. So I fucking took it. And then I went to go, because they had a garage and we're all partying outside, right? But, whatever. So as soon as I left, and there's like 3 steps out the back door of the kitchen, right?
Yeah.
As soon as I fucking started, I went to step down. Oh man, kicked in on me. I ate shit down the stairs, and then it was just, it was fucking like, oh man, I was so fucked up, dude. And then, like when I was 14, acid, purple microdot. Okay, same thing. I bought 2 hits of purple. They're just little balls, right? Same thing. I took fucking hit of. You know what I mean? Fuck, I ain't feeling nothing, man. Like, so I took a second hit of purple microdot. That shit is like fucking heavy. And I'd never taken acid. And so this guy Brett, dude, he's like, I mean, this is the first guy that was like what you call this dude's burned out. Like he tells her like, yeah, man, like, I just tell your mom, hey, Mom, I need money to get 2 tickets to the Led Zeppelin. The dude was like like a crazy burnout, right?
Right.
So we're, there, and then, I'm fucking getting high as fuck. And then I had plans with my dad that night, we were going to go to a baseball game and all that. And so I'm like, fuck, dude, I got to go. And I'm high as fuck. But then I get it when I leave when you're frying and you're in one situation, it's all cool. Kinda. Everything's good.
You're still,
when you change, when you change the scenery and all that. So I'm on my bike, dude, and I mean, shit's melting and all this shit. I'm all, what the fuck? But first, I'm meeting my dad at this ranch house, steakhouse, right? So we were gonna meet there. So I'm riding my bike over there, and I'm going, oh my God. Fucking, I mean, I'm like seeing shit, and then like I'm fucking I can't even describe it. Like I'm so fucking high, and I'm freaking like, what the fuck am I gonna tell my dad? Like, and then so I get there, my dad's already there, and then I come inside, and he's sitting at this booth, and I'm just like, I mean, everything in there is just like, it's like orange booths, and it's just, I was just, oh my God. And then so I told my dad, I go, hey, dude. I don't know what's going on, but I don't feel good. Now I'm kind of getting sick, but I was like tripping. So then I got to go to the bathroom. And so I go, no, wait, first I sit down and then I'm tripping. And then the waitress comes up to take the order and I'm talking, I can't hear my voice. So I'm like, I don't know how, like I can't measure how loud I'm talking. My dad's just looking at me and so I order.
Like what are you hearing?
I can't hear my voice.
Nothing.
So I'm like talking. Yeah, I can't hear my voice.
You don't hear nothing.
So like I
But
guess
your
apparently.
mouth's moving.
Yeah, but I can't hear anything. So, and my dad's just looking at me like, the fuck? Like, so I order anyway. I probably was screaming, like, because I think I was going up and down. And then, so then I'm sitting there and I told my dad, I go, dude, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I go, I do not feel good. Like, and then I said, I'm going to go to the bathroom. So I'm in there pissing. And like I say, dude, like wallpaper, everything, I'm just like, what the fuck am I going to do? So I'm pissing. And then when I'm done, I feel something stuck on I can feel like I'm stepping on something. And I fucking lift up, and there's a fucking cockroach on my bottom of my foot. Because, Florida, there's so many bugs and shit. So I fucking flicked that fucker off, and it just went into like 1,000 trails, like just cockroaches all. And I was like, that's it. And then I come back, and I go, dude. And then I come back, and the food's there. So I cut the steak, right? And then I take the first bite, and I'm just like chewing. I can't fucking swallow it, and I'm just chewing on this piece of steak. And I'm like, fuck. And I can't fucking get it down, man. I'm like, what the fuck? And then that's how I said, that's it. I go, Dad, dude, I'm fucking sick as fuck. Can I get the keys? And then I just went and I fucking just laid in the back seat while he ate and everything. I go, and then my bike's like up at the thing, and then we get my bike, and I got to put it in the trunk, and then.
That was in Florida.
Huh?
This
was Florida. I was 14.
What were you doing out here, though? What kind of?
Okay, so I don't know how we got on that fucking story, but anyway. Oh yeah, I was talking about.
Because I want to get where
Okay, so I
we
get
were
out
talking
here.
about bottoms. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah, so I had a bunch of bottoms.
You had a bunch
Florida.
of bottoms.
They tried to put me in a drug program. I was fucking selling weed at school.
Who put you? Who tried to do that?
One of my teachers. Because what happened was I was selling.
Where were you going to school?
In Florida.
Oh, okay, in
Fletcher High School.
But when you were out here,
I was graduating.
Yeah, but what were you doing out here then? What kind of?
Well, this is what the story. How I got to that one was I was like, okay, I'm done with coke and all that shit. So smoking a lot of weed, but then taking pills. But started smoking PCP with these guys. So I'm fucking smoking PCP now, and then it's another one like where this guy Troy Hartwell. He lived just on the other side of California in Venice, and he had this fucking garage. He lived in an apartment, but they had this massive garage, and he had like a fucking total fucking, that was like the party pad, couches. It was fucking badass.
Yeah.
And we partied like motherfuckers there. And then we're smoking PCP and shit, and then...
You're like one of the, because I smoked PCP. Yeah. You're one of the few people that I know, I think friends, that was into PCP. Not many people...
Well, when I was in Florida, I was sniffing paint for a while, too, because these older guys. How about
gas?
Guys.
I used to sniff gas. Did you ever do that?
No, I sniffed paint.
Gas is not bad when you're really young.
Dude, with a fucking paper bag, napkins, and...
Oh, paint. Yeah, huffing.
And then I got a thing like, okay, and this is the thing, my fucking dad, dude, I put the dude through so much shit, but I had older brothers he'd already been through it all, and then it's like, oh, fuck.
So you're learning from them.
No, I wasn't learning from them, but my poor dad had already, because he, because when I was young, I was a fucking crazy baby, but I was already smoking pot, you know? And then, so with the paint, I had a weird like blackout too. Like I didn't remember going home because I was hanging out with these guys who were like 18 and I was like 13, you know what I mean? And then, so I don't remember fucking going home, and I fucking woke up in the middle of the night, like fucking running around freaking out. And then my dad comes up, what the fuck? And I didn't know I was at my house. I was like freaking out. I got to get home. Fuck. Like, and I'd gone home, but I was so high. I just felt, And then the other thing when I broke my dad's heart was like I had a fucking huge bag. I was 12 and I had this bag of weed, like a lid,
Yeah.
And I had it in a shirt pocket in my closet. and my dad found it, and I was just like, oh fuck, and I meant it from the bottom of my heart. I go, I'm never gonna smoke pot again.
Right.
That's it. And I mean, I meant it
Sure.
when I said it. And then it was just,
Yeah.
so, and I used to steal the car, like when I
What
had
about what you were saying there? I wanted to see because you were saying about your bottoms and stuff like that.
Well, yeah. So they put me in drug thing, and I had to meet with they didn't. It was in the 70s, so they didn't even know what they were doing. But I had this one teacher. I was getting into it because after lunch, I had this 2-hour cooking class, and this lady Emma Morgan. Well, I mean, we did shit. We made marijuana brownies, and everything that was made. She was this big black woman, cool as fuck. But it just went south with her and I. You know what I mean? So, and everything that was made, she would take huge portions of. So she took like 2 big marijuana brownies, and then the class after mine. So she got high as because she ate the brownies in the class.
She's a teacher?
Yeah. And then she's like, my friends were telling me, she's like, class, I really have to apologize. I don't know what's wrong with me today. So that kind of like started like that. And then the thing is, I had that after, because I'd leave and get stoned every lunch period, because we could leave the grounds for lunch.
Yeah.
And I was dealing, so it was like this whole thing. They kept trying to bust me. Like I had the dean coming out.
So you had somebody, like, at least you had something. You had people that were planting some kind of a seed in your mind that there's a fucking problem. You got a problem.
So I had to meet with. They go, well, we're gonna meet, and then they had these 2 guys that were like, they were on ass. These guys, and I'm thinking these dudes are so fucked. I go, why the fuck am I in here? I mean, I was totally fucked up, but.
They're worse.
I was still surfing, and I was like, I had it together, and what I thought, you know what I mean. But so I had to meet with them, and then I remember they wanted me to write, the first thing you remember, and I wrote this whole loud because I was kind of a good writer a little bit back then. So I wrote this whole, super dark and wet for like, I don't know how long, a long time, maybe 9 months, and then all of a sudden the light came. So I did this whole thing. First thing you remember, and I talked about being in my mom's stomach. I did this, and they fucking freaked. I go in and do fucking,
So that was the dark, dark and the wet was being in your mom's stomach.
I did this whole elaborate story, and then talk about getting fucking spanked for the first time. They were pissed, dude. So it was just like, I mean, that's like, how it went. But yeah.
But
then and here's another okay, so the lifeguard thing, right?
But you got to get to the bottom.
Okay, I'll get to that. But anyway, so what happened on Sunday? You got to do a volunteer thing, and I was fucking hungover. So what you do? You're out, and it's old school lifeguards. You drag your chair.
The singlets, the tight here.
Well, yeah, and you drag your chair to the edge of the water, and there's a fucking big tower where walkie-talkie. So you have these flags, and what it is, if you need the truck to come, say like someone's just out too far and you got a whistle and you're trying to get it, but they won't, you do what's called a flag wave, where it's not like an emergency, but the truck needs to come down.
Yeah.
So what happens when you're doing a flag wave, every tower down to the big one has to relay. It's called a relay. You gotta.
Yeah.
I'm so fucking hungover, dude, and the guy's blowing the whistle, and they're all flat, and they're all fucking whistling for me to fucking wave your flag, and I'm so hungover and so out of it. I'm just like looking. It was oh wow, I wonder what the fuck's going on. I just don't even connect it. So then I had to go. You get brought up for that, right? Mm-hmm. So then I had to go in front. I mean, it's a serious fucking thing because you're saving lives. It's like fucking, there's captain, there's a whole thing. So once a month you have a fucking big meeting and everybody has to go to the meeting. I'm like, fuck, I'm in trouble, right?
I can't imagine you as a lifeguard.
So here's the deal.
All this serious shit.
So, but when we would go to those meetings, get stoned and everything, because usually you're just going.
You're gonna save somebody's life.
But I'm going. I gave mouth to mouth. I saved a bunch of fucking people, dude.
No way.
I swear to God, I saved a lot of people.
Why am I laughing so hard?
I did. I'm telling you, I saved a lot of people. Jesus. Okay, so anyway, so we used to always get high going out to these meetings, right? No,
I'm
dude.
sorry.
One dude, I had to clear out, swim out to this dude, and the guy was laid on it, seeing it. The guy was this guy died.
Oh shit.
Okay, so I'm on the truck, right? So it's a flag drop. Guy's going out to get the guy. Fucking, I'm on the back of the truck. So you come down 4 guys. There's 2 guys in the front and 4 guys on the back. And you got these torpedo things. So we fucking go swim out to the guy. I get out there and this dude's purple. I go, oh fuck, this guy ain't gonna make it, dude. So we get him in and we got him right on the beach and we're fucking, fucking. Let me tell you, I know all that shit today.
You could do it today?
I know it all. You know what I mean? You fucking, but this dude's fucking thing. So we're doing the whole thing. And then the dude's like, and I'm the one doing the mouth to mouth, but he's like fucking foaming. So I got to clear his shit out. And then I'm fucking doing the whole fucking thing, dude. But that dude fucking died, dude. He was still alive, but they came
After.
Yeah. So we took him to the
On
station.
the way he died?
They'd already called the ambulances. This dude, yeah, he died. I mean, he was purple, bro. It was like,
That's gnarly.
it was so fucking heavy, man. Like,
Dude, I fucking think I fucked up my hernia. I was laughing so hard. I swear to God, I'm not joking. I'm not joking. Like, you and I were talking about hernias the other day.
I had 3 hernias. I had
Listen to
fixed.
this. My fucking belly button. Something Dylan knows. There's something wrong. Because my belly button is bulging out.
You got to
know
get
about
that
this?
fixed. You got to get it fixed.
And I was laughing so hard right now. It started hurting.
They went in. I got cut. I had 3 hernias. I went to TJ.
But
got
was
them all
yours
fixed.
belly button sticking out?
No, I had 2 in my groin.
I have
and
that
I had a
too.
high one.
I feel it here now, and it's down in here now.
You got to get it fixed.
I'm not
You got to get
joking.
it fixed. I'll give you the
Fucking
place.
hurts.
Go if you want to go to TJ. You got good insurance?
I do. I
Okay.
got good insurance.
Yeah, I got mine done in TJ for $2,700.
Would you give me mouth to mouth if I?
No, not you. I'd let your ass go. But so anyway, so I had to go to fucking in front of the whole board. It was like serious, right?
Yeah.
But when we used to, every month it's a mandatory meeting. Everyone has to go.
Yeah.
But usually you're not involved in it, right? So we would, we'd get stoned and just go sit. It's fucking boring as fuck,
Yeah.
but it's like an hour-long meeting going over every fucking detail of everything. But I'm going up in front of the board because I fucking missed the flag drop, right? So I'm riding
But
out
that
with my
has nothing
friends.
to do with the guy dying. That's
No,
not, that's a
it's
completely
totally
separate.
different
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
No, but what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
so I'm driving out with my friends and they're fucking getting stoned, and then I'm fucking getting stoned,
Yeah.
and I gotta go in front of the fucking board, and I'm high as fuck,
Yeah.
and then it was like serious, dude, and then they were like, and they even said it. The dude's all, man, you're in here for this, and now you're here fucking high, and I was like, oh fuck.
They knew you were high.
Yeah, we were stoned as fuck,
Right.
and my eyes used to get so
Yeah.
red. It's just like, so then they said, okay, so they'll go, you got to come back next month, and then you know what I did? I fucking said, fuck it, I'm done. I just bailed,
To California.
and I got dishonorable. No, I was still young, but I just said, that's it, I can't
Right.
go back, and I got dishonorable discharge.
But isn't that interesting, right?
Yeah.
You couldn't. You probably loved the job, didn't you?
I fucking loved it. Yeah,
you
and I
still-
made good money.
It didn't
dude.
matter. You couldn't do it. You were fucking
No.
already in.
No, I was like,
You're already
fuck
in with
it.
the drug. You're already hooked. It had its
Yeah,
fucking
I was like,
claws in
fuck
you.
it. And then at one time, because like I say, you get a bunk and you can sleep
Yeah.
there, and every once in a while I would crash there. And same thing. And I mean, I was already, there was an emergency in the night, and I mean, this fucking alarm and goes off so gnarly, and I slept right through it.
You know, it's funny. You were talking about that, the teacher, right? And the people that tried to put you in there. And I was thinking the other day, like, there were so many people. Like, I got kicked out of Samo High, and I
Yeah.
went to Olympic Continuation, and I
Yeah.
got kicked out of there. And at every step of the way in my schoolwork, there was always some teacher or coach that reached out to try and help you. And I remember recently, not recently, but a few years back, I ran into one of the coaches, and they asked me why, and I tried to why I couldn't straighten out. And I had to explain to him, the only way I could think of it was I dug a hole so deep for myself.
Yeah.
At such an early age. There's
Yeah.
no fucking way I was going to get
Yeah.
out. And I knew
Yeah.
it. And so you have to fucking give up.
Yeah.
You just say, fuck it. This
Yeah.
is who I am.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to climb out of the hole.
No. That's what
You know,
I said. That's it. I'm done.
Yeah.
I fucking never went back.
So you become
And then
this.
and then they did the meeting and they dishonorable discharged me. So I got booted.
And you were
out.
how old then?
I was maybe 16.
Yeah. Too late.
Yeah. Just like
The
no
fucking,
way.
you're already
Yeah.
burying yourself.
Yeah, and then I had all that shit go down in school, and then the funny thing is, like, they couldn't ever bust me though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they were trying to pop me at school and all that. But what's crazy was, and I think I might have already graduated or got out, and basically, I wasn't even going to graduate. Oh, and then I got busted at, you know what grad night is? Did you guys have that?
No, I didn't. I got out of 10th
know.
grade. I was done with
Okay,
school.
well, you know what grad
I mean,
night
I know
is?
what it is.
Okay,
right?
so
That's where
Disney
you go to the
World, because I'm in Florida. So
That's before the prom or after the prom or
it's all
What
the
is that?
all
Like
the
right
all the
before
12th graders go to this thing called grad night. So it was this whole thing at Disney World.
but it's not the
Right?
prom.
No.
Okay.
Right before graduation.
Okay.
Yeah. So you go to Disney World, right?
Mhm.
And we're
I mean, I
fucking-
remember you doing
We're
that.
in whatever it is, the hunt, whatever. We're fucking getting stoned, dude. And this motherfucker, I have the joint, grabs me, dude, and he's fucking it. I'm like trying to pull it away, and then they called the other guy. So then when we come around, like the dude's got my arm and he's trying to get the joint, and I won't let go of it. We're like fucking kind of wrestling. So then they fucking pop us when we got off the fucking thing. And they're there
Yeah.
waiting, and then
You got arrested on grad night.
yeah, we got fucking we got pop all the shit, and then go sit on the bus the whole night. Okay, but then what happened? And then it's like you're not walking.
Oh,
So
I
they
know
go,
that.
You're
yeah.
not gonna walk. I said,
You're not going to walk up on the stage and get
yeah,
your
I'm not gonna.
diploma.
I
or
can't.
whatever.
I can't get my diploma.
Right,
And
right.
I'm like, you know what? I wasn't gonna fucking walk, and I wasn't gonna walk because my dad had died. I'm like, fuck, I'm not walking. You know what I mean? And then the thing is that I had some problems with. I had to go take some classes. I think it was for English or whatever. Like I didn't ever study or anything, but I could make passing grades by not doing anything and just doing. I never did homework. I would just do my work. But if I had a teacher that I liked, I'd do really good. But if I had a teacher I didn't get along with, I had serious problems. So I went to the junior college and took all these tests. It took me I went 2 nights and took all these tests, and then I went to the school. I took the thing, and I just like a week after graduation, I went and got my fucking diploma.
How many time?
You're at an hour and 4 minutes.
Let's get to this recovery.
Yeah.
Let's get
So-
into that.
To the recovery. Okay.
Yeah.
So what happened was, so I'm going along doing.
Are you out
everything.
here now?
Yeah, I'm here, right, and partying, and then, like I said, when I came here, I wasn't going to do coke, but then, when it really got bad was when I kind of stopped skating and all that, and I didn't have any outlet. You know what I mean? And
Was
then-
it the drugs affecting his skating?
totally?
It
from
just
day
took it
one.
away. Yeah.
Yeah, from day one. No, it wasn't that, and it was the injuries, but I was just it was drugs and alcohol were fucking up my skating
And
for sure.
everything else.
Yeah, and everything. But it got real dark after, when I stopped skating. I was surfing a lot then, and everything was good with that. But it was just fucking getting dark. And then another thing for me was I always, from when I was young, I didn't think I was going to live past 25.
Mm.
So I thought I was just going to have this fucking killer, fucking crazy little life. And by 25, I'd be, go out some way and not take myself out, but
Right.
I just figured I'd be dead.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to live past 25,
Right.
like literally. So I had no fucking plans, dude. And that's what happened. 26 came but what happened was I started drinking way more and doing more drugs and fucking one thing I always said, I'll never be a junkie, you know what I mean? But I started smoking fucking heroin, and if I wouldn't have got sober, I probably would have got strung out. But I was always like, I'm never gonna be a junkie.
What was the bottom or the turning point where you go, I fucking can't do this anymore? Do you remember what that exactly was, or how that you felt about that at that time?
Well, yeah, it was happening a lot. So what happened was, this is how I went to my first meeting.
Mm.
Okay. Like I was, like fucking dry heaving to, okay, this girl, Roberta, lived with her in Santa Monica. We weren't together. We were just roommates.
Yeah.
And it was my friend Chris Cahill's house. And that was just like a drug infested party house. But anyway, it was really fucking, we were on, it was just basically on a good one all the time. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And then, but for me, I was getting fucking physically sick all the time. You know what I mean? I was 135 pounds. When I came in the first one, I was 135 pounds. I mean, I wouldn't eat for 4 and 5 days. I was just drinking and fucking doing, and didn't eat. And I kept trying to stop drinking on my own. You know, I was like, I can't fucking do this shit. So I was trying to stop everything but smoking pot. You know what I mean? So what happened was, she got taken to a rehab, right? Her mom came in and was all, what the fuck? She came over one time, she was all, you're out of here. Like, so she took her to a rehab, and she came back, she goes, hey, I'm sober, and I don't want, any drugs or anything in the house. And I was like, it's like the time when my dad, I said, I'll never do it. I said, totally. I go, I get it. Cool. I want to quit too, you know what I mean? But I couldn't.
How old were you?
I was 20. I was probably 26. It was in the end of '84 or something like that. And then but I couldn't stop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it was like, and she was getting bummed out. And then, but I remember, man, I was so fucked up, and I was going from my room to go to the bathroom, and I was dry heaving. I mean, like fucking throwing up bile and shit. And she goes, you want to go to a meeting? And I was just like, yes. And one of the heaves, I was like, yeah. So I went to a noon meeting at the Improv,
Oh yeah.
like in '84. Maybe it was beginning of '85.
Right.
I don't know.
I remember that
I
meeting.
think it was the end of '84. But it's funny thing is, I go there, and Rick Dano is sharing. You know Rick Dano?
Of course. He was just at my house for Christmas Eve.
So he's like a surfer, and I was
Yeah.
like, fuck.
He was
dude.
in Big Wednesday. Did you
And
know
then-
that?
No, I didn't know that. So then I go, fuck. And he's sharing. I was like, I go, fuck, maybe I'm an alcoholic. I never added that up, my family
Right.
and everything. I never said, hey, dude. And then it was just like, whoa, maybe I'm an alcoholic. So then I went to a CA meeting and they said something about you don't do anything that affects you from the neck up. And I didn't know what the fuck. So I told her, I go, well, what does that mean? She goes, oh, they mean like pot. You don't do anything like. I was like, fuck, I ain't quitting smoking pot. I just want to quit all the other shit. So then I go, fuck it, I'm just going to do it on my own. And then, whatever. And then, I was just like, kept fucking up. And then a friend of mine who had disappeared for like 3 months. This is before cell phones and everything. I'm calling the motherfucker all the time because I used to surf with this guy all the time. He's not fucking telling his parents, hey, tell him to call me. Fucking dude ain't calling, ain't coming by. Fucking, it was 3 months. So I'm on a fucking run, and it's like a Sunday morning, right?
Yeah.
I've been up for the whole weekend, and he shows up, and I'm fucking spun. And he goes, dude, bro, I've been sober 90 days. And I said, take me to a meeting.
Wow.
And then, and it was weird. And then, so I went to the meeting, and then the second meeting I went to, like I went in, he goes, we got to save a seat. And it was Ohio Street. And I walk out the back door, and who's walking across with this smile on it is Ronnie. And I see his face. I'm like, what the? And then he comes up and he hugs me. And dude, I was like, oh my God, dude, something's fucking happening here. Because I'd never seen that with Ronnie.
Yes.
It's like, oh my God. And then Ronnie's all, dude, this is what we do. And then he just like, Skid Row, fucking in my first week, I'm at Skid Row on panels. And I just like jumped on the fucking train, dude. And went to, you know what I mean?
You know what's funny about Ronnie? That you said that? Because that was my experience. I came in and I went to a meeting, and I was all, do you remember I used to only wear like sleeveless fucking flannel shirts because I was all scared, and I would always do curls before meetings to try and look all fucking buffed. And Ronnie used to make fun of me because I had this big handlebar mustache, right?
Yeah.
and I would do all these fucking curls before the meeting. I'd stand in the back, and I snuck in Ohio Street.
Oh shit.
And Christian was giving Ronnie a cake.
Oh wow.
Right?
Crazy.
And I had the same experience. I go, fuck, that's fucking Ronnie. And
Yeah.
Ronnie was my idol growing
Yeah,
up. I wanted to
yeah.
be just like Ronnie,
Yeah.
which is a bad idea. And I watched him take that cake, and I remember hearing Ronnie, who was the toughest guy in Santa Monica.
Yeah.
And he said, he goes, the longer I'm around here, the softer I get. He goes, and slowly I've been able to let my guard down.
Yeah.
And I remember him saying that, and I felt my fucking shoulders
Just drop.
just drop.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I go, fuck, like you said, if that can happen for him, maybe there's something here for me.
Yeah.
Because I was hiding behind my mustache and my fucking muscles
yeah,
in the back of the room.
It was insane.
And
But
the
then
truth is, I was
the
just scared.
Crazy was, so I had everything, dude. And then, I worked all 12 steps. I had fucking commitments. And then I got in a relationship, dude. And within no time, I went out after doing everything.
That I remember, right?
Yeah.
I remember
was
that.
out like 6 months. Fucking ugly, dude. But it didn't get like it.
No, I don't know. I didn't know you then.
Yeah. Well, I went out. Like my first sobriety date was March of '85, and March 25th, 1985, and then now it's November 2nd, '87.
Yeah.
So I went out with like 14 months. Stayed out for a little while.
And then how go ahead.
How I got back?
Yeah.
I slipped like 14 times, and it's so funny that I had 14 days, right? And I'm going surfing with a friend, and I was like, okay, I'm back now. I got it, like, cause I'd slipped a bunch of times, but I was like really kind of like, okay, fuck it, and I was with the same chick still, and she was going to meetings with me and all. So I'd gone surfing that day to Oxnard Shores, and my friend David Ferry, I go, hey dude, don't bring any weed or anything. I'm sober, you know what I mean? I don't want to get fucking. So we're driving up, dude, and he goes, pull up that box, and it's fucking Thai stick, dude, so sick. He's all, roll me one, so I fucking roll this fat fucking joint, and I fucking instantly just smoked it, you know what I mean? Then we got up there, and I was so fucking bummed and so stoned. I was paranoid. I smoked pot every day, never got paranoid, but I was fucking paranoid. But the surf was like, I'd never seen Oxnard Shores like this. And I'm telling you, every wave was a peak that you could go left or right on. I'd never seen it like that. It wasn't closing out.
Right.
It was peaks. You take off behind a peak. But I was so bummed out and so paranoid. I wasn't scared of the waves, but I was just like,
yeah.
And I just had like the worst fucking session, dude. Because I was just
and
like,
it was perfect.
Oh man. And then and then it was a Sunday night meeting at the 14th Olympic. And my chick's with me, and someone goes, how much time you got now? And man, I wanted to say, oh, I got fucking high. But my chick's standing there, so I go, oh, I got 14 days. And dude, it was that fucking lie. Kicked my fucking ass. I went home, and I just said, hey, you know what? I got fucking stoned today. And then that's when I said, you know what? I was just like with her, I was like, I don't give a fuck about, because she'd kind of left me and came back, and we were like back and forth. She was super young, you know what I mean? And then, but that lie was it, dude. And then back, you know what I mean?
And what's it like for you now? Like, what's your life like now that you've been sober?
What, dude?
So long. What's that been like for you?
It's my life's incredible, but it's not. I'm in a position where I didn't think I would be. Because when I had my business, I had times where I was making a lot of money, and bought a house in Santa Monica and all this shit. I mean, I'm like, if you wanted to measure, like, I'm probably at what would measure as a low point, but I'm happier than I've been, because you know why? I have this amazing house way up in this canyon in Tahunga. I have 4 dogs. I just had to put down one of my dogs, and I got my lady. She's sober like almost 16 years. We've been together almost 16 years, and I'm so happy. And the thing is, like, because I have such a simple life. And when I was really doing my business and making money, I was so stressed out all the
Yeah.
time. And now I'm just like, it's crazy. So I have some meetings I go to downtown, and I'm just kind of, I've been reflecting, a new year,
Yeah.
so I'm trying to get more involved. I just started sponsoring a guy, and because I hadn't sponsored anyone in so many years, but so, and you know what the crazy thing is I've had, like, people have wanted my clothing forever and never
Yeah.
really been able to get it, like, because I was always busy making other shit. So now I have like I average selling. It slowed down the last 3 months, but I average selling like 150 of these a month, and then, but I have more people. I'm more accessible for people to buy my stuff than ever, and I've just built this weird little niche, like that's like kind of amazing, you know what I mean? And I got like a really small but pretty good sized loyal following of people that. So yeah, my life's like fucking great, dude.
What do you think if you could say what it is? What's what's the secret? What do you think your secret is to what you seem super serene and content right now? And then when I asked you that question, because it wasn't like you talked about how your happiness, you got your house and this and that, and there was a calmness.
It's nothing material.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
dude,
what's
today I got in an accident. I rear-ended someone. My fucking car's broke down right now. You know what I mean? It's like,
on the way
'cause
here,
you know
right?
what? Yeah, I got in an accident on the way here. I had to fucking get in my girl's car. I had to get the car towed to the mechanic guy. Fucking take an Uber, rent a car to get here, and like.
And what's it about the?
But none of that shit matters, like,
Right.
dude. None of it fucking matters. Like, I just live in the fucking moment. You know, I look. I'm in my head. I'm stressed.
And how
out
do you do
days.
that? How do you do that? How do
How
you
I
do
do
that?
it?
Like, do you have a routine, or how do you? Because it's true.
Well, yeah, I do. I do my work. I have work that I do. You know, like reading, meditating, praying, and. But what the thing is for me, and it was when I had to like let go of my business and all that, and then I was getting audited and like going through a divorce, all that fucking shit. What I always said, I go, dude, you know what? Because I'm not saying I made a lot of money, but I used to make a fair amount of money.
You did well.
Yeah. But you know what I always said? I go, dude, no matter what, they can't take away my sobriety. They cannot fuck with that. So that's what I hung on to. I go, fuck it. You know, I mean, I fucking had my cars impounded. I had my banks closed. I never bounced a check, never did anything. Fuck, the banks closed my accounts. Dude, I had these fucking loans that were really bad loans. I used to have $100,000 credit line. I had $250,000 off my house. I fucking but I had to take this really bad loan, and it came out of my account every day. And then it got to the point where I couldn't cover the fucking daily payment. You know what I mean? I had this one loan. It was coming out of my account. The payback was coming out every fucking day. And I finally told the bank, shut that fucker down. But the thing I always said, no one can take my sobriety away.
No one can take my sobriety.
They can't. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
But, and the one thing I always did too was like, my thing was when I get up in the morning, I go, all I got to do is, I call it pillow talk. I just got to get to my pillow. And that was my commitment, was I'm not going to pick up before I get my head on the pillow that night.
From
And
now
I
until
always,
the time you go to bed.
like, I sponsor a couple guys that aren't even in the program, but I have a friend, he's fucking sober way over a year, and we call it pillow talk. And he always tells me, dude, I'm just making it to the pillow every night, you know, and that's like, you know what I mean? And then so one day at a time, it's one breath at a time, like that, you know what I mean?
Well, there you go. Let's end it on that. That was fucking excellent, right?
No matter, even the little technical problems.
You can't take away my sobriety.
No, you can't.
And I got to make it.
The ultimate man couldn't rip it from me.
Nah, I don't know.
No, he couldn't.
The ultimate man.
Yeah.
And
I mean, he doesn't even have a potato anymore. That's what kind of bummed me out. I showed up.
Where does the potato go?
It goes in the front.
Not the back. George, I love you, man.
I love you, buddy. Thanks for having me.
I want to say one thing real quick.
Say it.
He is responsible. I don't think I've told you this before, but you're responsible for saving my marriage. Did I tell you that before?
No,
I never told you that?
no, you never did.
So when I was fucking around doing all the sketch comedy, YouTube bullshit, making movies, and April had it.
Yeah,
Remember that?
yeah,
And she was fucking out. And she wanted nothing to do with me. She wanted my bags packed and gone. And I didn't know what to do. And I called you. And the one thing you said to me, you go, and he was just starting junior high school maybe. And you said, no matter what you do not get divorced. Do not get divorced. No matter what you do. And you said, you got to take care of yourself. And you started dragging me to Al-Anon meetings. And the other thing you told me was the key was just be your friend. Just work on being her friend, and that's it. Yeah. And I did that. And I followed your advice, and I credit you for that, you know.
that's cool.
I'm telling you that.
Dude, Al-Anon saved my life, dude, and especially with my kid and all that. I mean, we didn't get into any of that, you know, but yeah, Al-Anon. I mean, they call it the graduate program, and it just comes a time in your sobriety where you got to seek outside shit. Al-Anon fucking saved my life, and Ronnie turned me on to Al-Anon.
And then you turned that on to me, you know.
And Ronnie railroaded me in, and I was so freaked out because he railroaded me in to be a secretary when I fucking started in Al-Anon. I was like, what the fuck? I can't do that. And fucking I showed up for 6 months and was a secretary. And man, it got me like linked in with all these fucking people, man.
Yeah.
And it was like,
Well, it's funny. We probably won't even use this, but what was true was you took me to these meetings, and I didn't want to go. And my sponsor Joel, when I was having problems with April, he said, "You had told me let's go to an Al-Anon." I didn't want to go.
yeah,
And then Joel said to me, he goes, "Do you remember?" He goes, "When I first started sponsoring you, it was 20 years ago, right?" He goes, "I just want to ask you a question." He goes, "Did you ever go to those 5 Al-Anon meetings I told you to go to?" That was like his requirement.
right,
And I go, no. You know, and I went with you.
yeah,
And it did.
yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
okay.
do the extra,
What?
You didn't do
The
the
extra.
What's the extra?
exit.
Yeah, the exit.
Oh, I didn't?
Do you have an exit?
I didn't do one, huh? Okay, let me do an exit.
Okay, how you doing? How you doing? It's your show.
George, man, thank you so much for being here. You're one of my best buddies, my closest.
I love you, buddy. and
Road dog.
Thanks for having me, bud.
Like
It's
I said, you know, it's a pleasure to be in your life, have you on my show.
Yeah.
And what do we say at the exit? Oh, what do we say? I got it.
You better redo it.
Let me. Yeah, I gotta redo it.
No, just keep it in. I like it. It's so tough. I got this shit.
Sorry, Dylan.
Sorry, guys.
I love it.
Anyway,
Poor Dylan, man.
George, I love you. You're one of my closest buddies. Thank you so much for being on here. Another savory conversation
Thank you, buddy.
on the
Thanks
Unsavory
for having me,
Fella.
and I love you too, man.
Love you, buddy.
Love you, brother.
Aloha.